Mario Soares over there, Given Morongo over there, and sorry, Kenya Missy, but I don't think Kenya is here yet. Not here yet, no. So welcome guys, welcome to the Artely Stable. We hope to have many more exhibitions with your work and look forward to working with you and on your journey. We also see many returning artists who haven't exhibited with us for a year or two. Patrick Sorewu with beautiful new works, a big jump in his process. Steve Mokoso, same thing, a big jump in process. And really exquisite work. Nate Fantonda, who's not with us today, but she has works on that wall over there. And Sibisisi Mgwazi, who's in that corner over there, also not with us today. And then we have artists who are ongoing, and Luduma Makubuka. I'm not sure if he's here today, his works are in front. So, and then we also have artists that are ongoing with us that have been exhibiting with the Artely Gallery over many years. Tony and Ballenden, you're going to see works over there, and Raja Oshi over there, as well as Hussein Salim, who's on the outside. And then you're going to see sculpture by Henry Kochreiling, Anton Smit, and Carrie Carter. So it's a wonderful day, a lot of new artists. And the title of Becoming, sorry, I'm just going to speak without this. The title of Becoming is really speaking to the idea how art becomes. It starts from nothing and it starts to become something. Much like our own lives, much like life in general, it often starts with a little seed, and art is often a process, and it's more about the journey than it is about the destination. It's very often on the journey of making art, different things happen, and you follow it, and something else happens, and it becomes. So that's very much the idea about this exhibition, about artists who are working with unique processes, and who've come to different conclusions in their work through process. So it's exciting to see all of these works. Sorry, Samantha Mseko, I didn't mention you. Returning artists, these are Sam's works. And I think you last exhibited with us about 2 years ago. Yeah, so it's really good to have your stuff back, and also a big jump in what we see. So, guys, that's it from me. What I do want to do before I hand over, because it's open mic today, so all of our artists are going to be talking. I just want to say a big thank you to my team, which is Kumi over there, Keisha over there, Tabili. I'm not sure who Tabili is. Tabili, and my husband Rich, who's always, he's my confidant and listening to the many ups and downs and tales of the gallery and helping me through many things. So that's my team. I want to say a big thank you to. And from here on, we're going to hand over. So Tepo, we're going to start with you. What I would like to ask everybody, because we're going to walk around, and we're going to keep the speaker on so everyone can hear, but if you have got data on, it creates feedback. So if you can just turn your phones off so we don't have data interfering on flight mode. Yeah, and that's just going to help for clarity as everybody speaks. And you've got to speak quite close to the mic.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Tepo Sizo. So this is the presentation that I have. It's titled Investigate. So Investigate mostly translates to something that shows an eye, an ear. So the thinking of the word was having to think of the idea of the term, because it's kind of offensive kind of term, because it means you are a child of a wild dog. But then I was thinking in the terms of the art scene that what we're actually doing, we're doing things that we are also challenging the art world. We are coming with different kinds of ways of making. Because the whole idea of the work was to say that it's not only brush and paint that makes the work, but now we're using needle and thread. So because I always enjoy those that play of contrast. So also the works that are also challenging was like what makes a sculpture, what makes a painting also. And also the thing of like as it being part of becoming was thinking of how it's also trying to calm, but there's the thing that's also pulling you. And it creates also a nice kind of contrast. And one thing that I also enjoyed about the material is this rustic and earthy kind of look in just the texture of the work. And that push and pull in it. And the works it's I think it's also that confusing thing that you also ask yourself as an artist that what I'm making, is it making sense? Because of sometimes like you get to be in a space, but then you find yourself like you are not actually, you do not look the part, you do not do the part. So that kind of questioning on oneself and thinking to yourself like, is this thing actually even making sense? Is it also something that is it palatable to the next person? And also the thinking of this brown kind of thing was like, the whole idea of this was like we are trying to create a new kind of voice. So it's more material based, and also it's a different kind of era in a way, in a different kind of thinking. And hence having to present this in the becoming was like, oh, actually we are also just becoming, we're coming up. So that was the whole thinking in the showing of this body of work for this show. Well, thank you all. So this is just
when you start to make the work, do you know exactly what you're doing, or does it have an agenda?
So the thing that I have a background of especially with my fine art. So usually I hate it at this
At this time, tonic water, please.
Normal tonic.
Mix this and this, please.
It's the mixture of the things that can also come there. And I have a big stage of I am this very reflection. So that's also the thinking of this
Thank you.
These were just what I had this thing just showing that these were all intertwined. It's the canvas, and also have that sculptural kind of form of it. Then these ways just flat, but then usually it's just shooting in the dark, and you find the light in that darkness. Yeah, then it becomes.
What about influence? Like, you seem so comfortable with doing ugly, and you know.
Who said it's ugly?
He said. I mean, based on my
the term that we actually discussing with friends that moving around, you say it's like it's ugly in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
You know, who said ugly is bad?
So it's also that kind of questioning. Like sometimes like ugly can be beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes sadness, but the influence and the confidence in the making of the work is like I spend a lot of time assisting Kenzanere Samfu, also assisting Nicholas Flo. So that's where I got to get the confidence of actually, even if it doesn't make sense, it does make sense.
It makes sense.
No sense is sense sometimes. But then it goes back on the contrast kind of thing. Because of now it's like we are approaching things in a very wrong way, but then it's the right thing in a way.
Do you always have inspiration, or do you just go with the flow sometimes?
There's always inspiration because of I think in the time that I spent with Nicholas, was like I got to learn about this thing of you create a body of work. But then at first it's like, because the thing was like, I think I also enjoy that conceptual kind of thing. It's like I think I need to think about it first. So I need to have that body of work before I make the actual thing. So now it's like it goes back to that becoming thing. That it doesn't just become a tree. You still need to hustle the seed. You need to plant this thing. You need to water this thing so that it can become this thing. So it's also that kind of thing. Yeah. Actually, now I'm just thinking now that there's a thing that I got to learn now. As I'm thinking about things like yesterday, used to say is like it's how do you make things that it's always people always enjoy the end outcome of the work. They do not know much more about the process, which is the most beautiful thing. So it's those things that makes the actual thing that you get to actually is much more you're paying yourself by spending hours having to wake up in the AM, having to try and think was like, oh, am I getting this thing done? But that process people never see. They get to see the end outcome, but it's also because even this rambling of things, like it's also trying to show people like there's actually things that are happening for this thing that's beautiful, but then we never get to show. But then I think maybe that's the beautiful thing about being an artist, because we always hide also how we make.
You said you work with fashion, right? So you use different kind of materials, right? So why you chose the hessian? What's the reason for the hessian?
Also, I was born and raised in Soweto. So Soweto, it was first called a Masagin, which means a place of sex. Because of that's when the first people that started occupying that thing, they were using this material as a form of home to them. So that's what inspired, and also having to think was like, as a Sowetan, there's this thing, I always hate December because of people pack and go home. Right. Now I'm just 16 rand away from home. People even have suitcase. So people are saying like, no, I'm going to Eastern Cape, I'm going to, but then there's that frustration that you have as Sowetan that you in December, you're just here in Joburg, you're not going home, and you're never saying you're home. So it also touches on that thing that somewhere along the line, that's where the family got cut. So that's why we can't trace it back into that kind of home. That's why now, when I go to KZN, my father's side, I'm not Zulu enough. I'm a township boy. When you go to your mother's side, no, you're not big enough. So I'm just half cooked everywhere. So it's hard to, but then it's just that painful thing. So that gray area, like it's black and white, but you need to mix the two to get gray. So I'm just dealing with the gray.
Make beautiful art.
Mario. What's that?
Hello. Yes. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Yes. So my name is Samantha Masego, and don't be nervous. Okay. This body of work presented before you is about social anxiety, and I use the metamorphosis of a butterfly to I use the metamorphosis of a butterfly, specifically the chrysalis stage of a butterfly Someone else speak.
Okay, can we try Mario? So can we pivot? Sorry, can we just pivot this side?
There's a lot of people, it's understandable.
Mario, do you want to come to? Do you want to come stand by your work? You must put it close to you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Yes, my name is Mario Suarez. I'm from Mozambique. So this is my work. I started when I was a child because I don't remember very well at which age I started with this everything. But what I remember very well is that when I was a child, so I used to be that boy that I used to like to grow too much, make too much growth. So in that area where I was born and grown up, so everyone they knew me like, hey, this boy, he's very talented. So that is what, but at the age, exactly which age, I don't remember, because it's something that I was born with. As being that way, me growing up, what it was in my mind was that is what I know what I am. So, I was born in Mozambique, so moving from Mozambique, from where I was born to Maputo, because it's a long distance from Chimoio, I home to Maputo, capital city. Come to Maputo, I spent 2 years in Maputo. I worked in Maputo very hard with other artists there for 2 years. Then moved to South Africa. When I moved to South Africa, I spent 5 years working in a project in Hebrew called the Boyfriend Project. I did 5 years working with those people there. Boyfriend Project. While I was working in the Boyfriend Project, then I was introduced to Artist Studio. And I went to Artist Studio. I started there. I did 4 years study, and I did 1 year internship there. So I did very well there in a technique called the etching technique. I did very well there. I went 5 years again with them there. So after the studio, then I met somebody called Jabulo Mati, who recently is my partner at Jabulo Mati is a very wonderful man, actually, to me and to the entire journey. I met in Jabulo, it was 2021 we met him. So now 4 years time. 4 years, almost 5 years working with him. So recently I'm working on independent technique. What I mean independent technique is that what I'm working on it, I'm working on something which I didn't learn it anyway. I'm doing my own thing. So, on this way how I'm working right now, I call it myself as I'm working in a system of no rules. So I don't have rules. So, which means, because I have this studio, as I studied there, so I remember very well, they're teaching us there as a class. And saying that here is how you have to mix water here with acid. Here is how to do it. Those were rules for a certain technique. So right now, no, there's no rules. So I hold my own things, my own materials, whatever it can be, or the fabrics, if it's glue or whatever it is. So maybe it could be what it is. But The thing what I know very well for now is that actually I am representing my own ancestors because it's a calling for my ancestors.
Yeah.
So it's a calling because before also I was so much confused about these two things. Because there are two things that people will always tell me about. They say, Mario, you are so much talented. I'm so much talented. But myself, I could see from what I was doing that, no, but I'm too good, yes. I'm doing okay. You are so much gifted. Wow, okay, I'm so much gifted. So between two things, talent and gift, I was confused. But then when I researched, I did a research, and I found out that, okay, between talent and gift is a difference. Because the talent is a skill that you learn somewhere, something that you learn from somewhere. So a gift is something that you have been given. So me, I'm gifted. I can also be talented. I'm talented, but I'm more on the gift side. So much gift because I'm doing a work for my own ancestors.
Yeah. Hi, Mario.
Thank you.
Yes. Can I just, hi Mario, I love your work, beautiful. I want to know what this means to you and what emotions they actually evoke, because I can see a lot of things in this one specifically. Thank you. Okay, this artwork, Mario, I want to know what it means to you and what emotions they evoke in you.
All right. Hello. It's okay?
Yes.
Okay, look, you see the work here, the works here, to tell you that I'm working on it. What I'm working on it right now. So my work, I am doing a work for my own ancestors. Okay? So I am working for them as a calling. So when I'm doing a work for them because they want me to do ahead where how it is. They want me to do everything the way how it is. Okay? Wow. The way how it is. I'm very sure that my ancestors are happy with what I am, the way how I did here, the way how I did there. Because I started this year actually working on all of this. These works, they are the first works that I'm working on this concept of calling of my ancestors. I feel myself that right now I am in a duty. Very serious duty, working for my ancestors. Direct working. So it's a matter of being in a duty. Like right now, where I am here, I'm very happy. Even tonight, when I go to sleep, I will sleep very well. Oh, I did so well for my ancestors because I'm right here. See? And I thank you very much for this gallery. Thank you very much for this gallery. The very first gallery to put my ancestors' work.
Yes.
First one. So what?
Wonderful.
Look, right? I'm 42 years old right now. I have worked very hard on art. But I didn't know that actually it's not only about me doing art, but it is something very serious. It has to do with my own ancestors. So I was surprised as well this year, because for me it was as a surprise. Oh, I didn't know, but I didn't worry because what my life is about my life. As I said in the beginning, that since when I don't remember how old I was when I started. all of this. How we do. So actually, my ancestors, they want me to move away. But this vision is the first one for all of this, for this journey.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you. Okay.
So now we head up to Kevin's work.
Can you guys hear me? My name is David, and I appreciate the exhibition coming. And these are my works of art that I'm presenting to the show. Where do we begin? The material, it's on canvas, but it's also done using charcoal and multimedia colors. It's not oil at this particular moment, it's actually acrylic paint. It's really derived from a need to really change the fundamental understanding of like rurality and like the idea of township life. I think I truly knew what poverty was when you're in the township. It deteriorates when you're in the village because it's almost as if those people are not living in poverty. They have sustenance, but they don't have much really. You know, they don't have electricity, especially the time when I was growing up, juxtaposing the township life. The first time I got exposed to load shedding, I was in Pedi, you know, that's when they switched off the lights. When I went to Limpopo, there was no lights, so there was nothing to compare what you didn't have. You can't complain, you know. So right now, the people are kind of, that I depict really are people that I saw in those kind of, you know, predicaments, in those kinds of situations. Mostly was women. The reason, well, now it's a man, so it's like 50-50, so it's fair, right? But the reason is like a lot of women in the work that I created is solely because they were custodians of like the culture. You know, it goes back also to like history and like, you know, what migration, forced labor did to the males. You know, they lost a lot of their understanding of self. You know, they got taken into townships, and the people who were actually left in the villages were the women. And so in my culture, I'm from Limpopo. There's a lot of respect in terms of the role women play. You know, like it's beautiful because you can have, you know, a tribe, or not even a tribe, but like a village, a sub-village that is ruled by a woman, and she didn't need to marry a man in order to be a queen. She was just born for the throne. And you know, in terms of traditional practices, a woman would always be the one to like also have that kind of role. Even when a king is placed in their seat of thrones, you have to consult being called a Kati, which is like a woman. She's the one that decides who the king is going to be. But in this particular body of work, I was more interested in the idea of realism, not hyper-realism, but like realism as in, like, in a historical, artistic way, like Kobe. You know, Kobe would depict people mining, people doing jobs, like they were depicted as real people. And I wanted to sit down and really question exactly what our role was. You know, when you see the male picking up logs, it's literally a reminder, not even a reminder, memory based on my mom waking me up in the morning and saying, let's go to the village farm. When we came back, she came back carrying logs, she came back carrying fruits, she came back carrying everything, you know, from the land. It was given to her from the land. Her father would have cultivated it in the farm, but then she'd be the one to like go tend to those things, and like the very food that she gets from wherever she gets it from is the ones that got us together. You know, the whole purpose of it was to have a community of people coming together during the nighttime. The stars were literally our, beams of light, and like the crickets that you hear, and the nature, the breeze, those things kind of created a very cohesive understanding of unity between humans and nature. That's where you got to understand that there's no difference. We're not fighting against, nature. The buildings were replaced with mountains. All of a sudden, the trees became, very apparent. The monkeys also, it was like, it's still there. It's like unity that I'm trying to depict. And the sense of peace. I think the people are very peaceful, So you think of the idea, again, of like rurality, you're mostly thinking about poverty as soon as I'm like rural area. But I didn't see that. I saw sustenance. I saw sustenance, I saw health. A lot of the people don't even work out, but they were like bulky, and they live long lives, you know what I mean? And that's what I was really interested in. Yeah.
I'm saying I just wanted to ask on the gaze, because the gaze is much more like the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, is it intentional or?
These are actually like caught in the moment. They're not posing. Like she's not posing necessarily. Women sit on the ground in my culture, and they barely, even males, but women specifically, because they seem to be the ones to have retained, the essence of who they were. They sit on the ground, and sometimes they just be in a very meditative process, like the world stops. They're not trying, it's not performative. They're not performing, they're not posing, they're not cool, they're just being, so they're not expecting anything. It's just they live like birds, Like they wake up and we don't have anything to eat, but I'm not going to go home or fall asleep with that, with an empty stomach. It's just going to happen, and that's why the gaze is there. She's just very meditative. Like it's just something I saw in the world, and I really was surprised because when you sit down, a lot of times people are not okay with being alone with their own thoughts. But I saw that these people were not afraid of that. They were okay with that. What are you doing? No, I'm just sitting. Doing what? Just, That's what they're doing. Even when he's literally the only thing on his mind is, I'm going to make a fire during the night. There's nothing else that he's going to do. It's just, what am I going to do? I'm going home to make a fire. That's it. Like, there's no distractions, even though they're there, but it's like they're just living life without expecting goodness or badness. Anything that happens is just, the wheel of life. It's just like what they're doing, Yeah. Any questions?
I love your work. You're so beautiful. I want to know, what are your biggest influences?
Okay. Oh, sure.
Just that.
Oh. In terms of art, like art.
There's behind this.
Behind the work.
Yes, behind the work.
A lot of influences. If I start speaking about them, it won't finish. I look at a lot of different ways in which people live. But my mother is very instrumental. My grandparents. I spend a lot of my time with those people. I still do spend a lot of my time with my mother. But my grandparents, they were old. They passed away. But what inspires it is that moment of her sitting in that state. Usually we'd be forming a circle around her. And after she sits for this long, she just starts speaking, talking about the need for heritage, the need to create this idea of Ubuntu, this idea of culture and heritage. And most of the times the stories are very mystical, so it's the influences are not necessarily, it's what I saw here, but like, it's the small things that I really want to depict within the work that I create, like the stories and the experience itself. I don't know if you mean like artists that inspire me, or
in whatever way you want.
I do look into a lot of art. Like I said, Kobe is very instrumental. I do love Caravaggio because I think he's like one of the first realist painters. But yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
You did. Thank you.
You chose a lot of bright colors and you contrasted between the black and white. Why is that?
Okay. In this, like the black and white is on the skin because it's not. I'm not depicting a race. I'm depicting people. You know. The colors. If you know Venda material, traditional wear, it's called a wear that's very colorful. You know. So because I'm not depicting Venda people, I'm depicting a people. I'm going to create my own culture out of those people. But it's going to come from me. Like, what do I know? What did I get exposed to? Colorful stuff. And as a vendor guy, I want to create my own fabrics that are unique to me. So that's why there's like I don't know. Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by the link to meditation and the process of creating it. Especially, I do a lot of sketching myself. So especially when it comes to the repetitive elements, like the cross-hatching. I do meditate, so I always find there's a parallel between the kind of mind state that you get into once you're creating art and meditation. Can you speak about some of your processes or influences in that regard?
Okay. Shout out. I appreciate that. It is a very meditative process, actually. People like to ask me how long it takes. I don't count the hours because if I do, I'll be discouraged. You know. So I appreciate that. It is, and the people are actually in a state of like meditation. You know, it's like that was a beautiful question. Thank you. What was it actually?
So I found that the parallels between the meditative state and
the art
the process of creating art, especially the repetitive.
Sure. I think it comes down to flowing. Yeah, it's flow, you know. There's a point where you do art, and there comes a point where you don't do it anymore, you become it, you know. So it's a process of becoming, you know what I'm saying? And you stop doing it, you know, like I ran out of canvas. I feel like I'm not complete, because I'm not breathing, you know, like what is a human without breath? Who teaches you that? Like nobody does. It's just like you have to do it. You know, you have to clear them. Let's do it. That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's what's up.
Thank you.
I love how you're speaking to the humility of the humanness in everyday life and the simplicity of it, but yet these two pieces are so incredibly regal.
Sure.
You know, when they step into the gallery, they're really regal. And,
amazing.
They're very beautiful. Yeah. And I see you've sold her already.
Yeah, it was a surprise for me too. Thank you. Yeah. Is there more questions?
Any more questions? No? Alrighty, so next up?
You sure?
No?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
We agreed that I'm going to
Yeah, it's okay.
So next up, Steve, are you ready to say a few? He's ready to say a few. Next up we have Steve.
Sam, Mara.
Can I be the next one?
Really nice.
All right. Can I pass through?
Hi.
This is my work here. Okay, this is my work here. So, I was born in Angola and raised here in South Africa. So, I moved in South Africa in 1993. So my dad was a soldier in South Africa, so he's South African, my dad. So he was part of the civil war in Angola. So he met my mother that side, so we migrated to South Africa. So my work deals a lot with identity and migration and love. So in this particular work here, I was inspired by my kids. So I have twins. So they inspired me a lot to also draw them because I like to tell my own stories. So every moment that I share with them, I make sure that I put that on the canvas. So this is I feel joy. So they are playful, they are happy. So every moment that I paint. So that piece there is also my work there. So that it's me coming from work. So I work from my studio. Then after the long day, I go home. And when I go home, I make sure I carry something to eat for them. I treat my career as a daily job. So I come back at home and then I come back with something to eat. Yeah. So yeah, my work is all about it.
So Steve, I have a question about your color usage. If those who are familiar with your work, previously there wasn't a lot of color, and we see this gravitation and really like this injection of color and texture and play. It feels quite playful. And so can you please expand on that journey, pivoting from the neutral monochromatic to something as this?
Okay, so my work, previous work, I was mostly focusing on black and white.
Yeah.
Because I was on a dark, I would say a darker journey. Because those work, they were representing more of grief, loss. So after I had my twins, they brought that joy in my life. So I felt like I needed color. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay.
Joy.
And your themes that inspire most of your artworks, your favorite artworks?
So it's love, migration, and it's mostly it's love.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also, we see collage, like collage as well as... Whoppa! The collage element, so that materiality. Can you tell us a little bit more about that as well? That clay.
So I start with a sketch. So what you see here is charcoal. So I start with a sketch. Then after sketching it, then I break it down. Then I paste that sketch. Then I paint on over it. So what you see here is charcoal. Here it's acrylic paint, and here is canvas.
Okay.
Coming.
So thank you everyone, and also thank you for the opportunity to exhibit here.
Thank you. Sam is ready. Sam is ready. Can we please pivot our way back to center court for Samantha Maseko?
Hi guys. I'm sorry about that. I decided to do it again because I'm not gonna let my social anxiety win. So let me reintroduce myself. My name is Samantha Masego, and the body of work presented before you is about social anxiety, and I use the metamorphosis of a butterfly, specifically the cocoon phase, to as a metaphor for social anxiety. So for those that don't know what social anxiety is, social anxiety is a condition that makes even simple interactions feel heavy, just like this one. So in these pieces, I use my body as a cocoon because for me, social anxiety can feel like being trapped inside a cocoon. I often replay conversations or interactions in my head. I second guess my words. I question whether I've said the right thing or the wrong thing, or if I've revealed too much or too little. So just like a butterfly dissolves, just like a caterpillar's body dissolves inside a cocoon, and it is rebelled into a butterfly, the loud inner voices, the loud inner conversations dissolve in my mind most of the time before I even say anything. So it mostly feels like, let's see if anyone wants for me to feel the ease and this nothingness of a space created by those explained. Then eventually it becomes, conceive many moods for me to feel the ease in this nothingness of a space created by those excrete void in the tunnels of life. My other me is an escape. I'd like to distill and postile a sense of confusion to those who are ordinary, for I am extraordinary. So, for me, this opening, the back cut, represents how I usually feel after opening myself up to people. And these puzzle pieces represent parts of myself that feel scattered after every interaction. And the complete part of myself represents how I manage to put myself together little by little, piece by piece. And this body of work for me was about so this body of work for me is just a gentle reminder to anyone dealing with social anxiety that it's okay, you are not broken, you are just becoming a butterfly. Thank you.
Hi, Sam. Can you talk about the significance of the butterflies? Like symbolism. What do they mean for you? Yeah, the butterflies, because...
Okay, so you know how a butterfly, it starts off as a caterpillar and then it becomes a butterfly. So most of you know that a caterpillar goes inside its cocoon, and when it goes inside its cocoon, its body dissolves, like its body is completely dissolved, and it is then completely rebelled into something new, which is a butterfly. So for me, social anxiety, it's like I'm mostly in my head most of the time, and instead of me letting conversations flow, they don't naturally flow. It's like the loud inner voices first dissolve in my head before I can actually speak. You understand?
Yes.
I hope that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I also want to ask that you not showing your face, do you think it will be part of your theme, or you not actually, being under anxiety, not showing your face, Linda? Because I see that you're just showing us your back. And do you think it might, or could it be part of your being called anxiety?
Okay, so I don't know if you've picked it up, but these pieces are sort of like, I don't completely make them flat on paper, but I lift them up. This sort of represents how I'd like to be heard, to be seen, to speak out, but I can't. Instead, I dissolve in the background. So that's why I have my back faced Yeah, so it's like most of the time I'm mostly isolated. I'm not a person that likes going out, being around people. Yeah, so.
So I just wanted to find out art and therapy, art and how it aids or brings out your voice for you and your truth. Can you tell us a little bit about how you found and really stepped into that journey? Because I think everyone has something. You have social anxiety, but everyone has something. And so how did you creating allow you and like kind of lift that weight for you? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know. I think when I'm creating, I am myself. You know, that's where I'm most comfortable. I'm free. But having to stand in front of people and explain what the work is about, then that becomes a problem. It's like it's not easy to stand in front of people and like pour out who you are, because this is pretty personal to me. I don't know how many of you are looking at me in pity, I guess, but it's like at some point I did have to like come out and talk about what I am, you know, dealing with, I guess, because that's what we artists do. We raise awareness, we talk about things that bother people, and this is what is bothering me, and I know it bothers someone else, so that's why I'm raising awareness.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Can we just get one more round of applause? And then just if you can ask to just turn around, because we have Patrick here. Patrick is here, he made it. And so if we could just hear a little bit about your work, Patrick, and
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Hello. Okay. My name is Patrick Saru, and I'm from Uganda. Now I'm based at I7, and I specialize in painting, drawing, and also collage. I started some few years ago, and just to give you a bit of my background. I used to do art when I was young in Uganda, and then I moved here in South Africa. It's where I met a friend of mine, now the late Beno Lutaya, who introduced me in the art community. I used to move with him up and down in the art exhibitions at the galleries and also in his studio. So yeah, it's where also I was inspired, and I started again to recall the place that I knew back when I was young. Actually, I started with him, and also I was doing art, but not just like profession. And I had to leave it. Then when I came back, when I was here in South Africa again, is when I started. And I've been painting that time like portraits. And when I started, it wasn't like easy, you know, when you are starting. But I started by that time we were there by open house, and my first exhibition, I'd love to like appreciate this lady here, Kate. I'm surprised to see her here because it's been a long time, you know. But I think for her, she knows my story when I started. And really she helped me. And my first like group show, it was in Absa Bank, if I don't forget. She invited me, so she contributed a lot to me. And from that exhibition, I had to continue and work, and also of course my works until now. So most of the people who know me, like her, someone, and also others, have been painting portraits all over, and those portraits are about women, because when I was here, if I started to do art, I was doing women's hair for a living. I used to plait women's hair, I had salon there, so I used to share a lot with women. And some of the stories that women have really were touching me. And that's why when I started, I wanted to tell a story about what women go through. Because I was raised by a single mom and also my 3 sisters. So yeah, I've been doing all that until now. So hair like yours, I can do it nice. So now I'm starting to, this year, I started to change from what I've been doing to go to something else, to experiment. Like this is my work. I'm trying to experiment with this. But with this, I wanted to, I was thinking, what can I do? What can I change? So I was recording back home what I was going through. As I said, I grew up with my sisters. And we used to go fetch water for a long distance. I like here by water just in the house or in your room. But as we used to walk long distance, there we used to. This is like a boreholes, we call it boreholes. And I was recording my sister by that time. I decided to hide some images because there were many. By that time, you go, you collect water, fetch water, those kinds of things. And mostly, I was also trying to pay tribute to the ladies there, especially those young sisters that I grew up with. And one she died unfortunately, but they used to work a lot because we are saying there that women or girls, they do work, the household work, fetching water, washing this and this, those kind of things. So I wanted just to recognize and remember her. That's why I did something like this. And she is there. She's there. I'm sorry about my voice. I've been suffering from flu and kind of fever, but I'm just recovering now. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And right now I'm trying to experiment with some works that I'm trying to do. But yeah, that is it. So maybe also another thing, I'm using approach to canvas. Yeah, that's all. Yes, thank you. Any one question? Or? Thank you.
Thank you so much, all. And now we are moving over to Kenya's corner. So can everyone please make their way to the corner this side? And also from that way as well. Kenya. There she is.
Where? Yeah. Hello.
Hi, how's everybody?
Great.
Very cool. My name is Kenya. I'm a visual artist. I've been practicing for 15 years. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. So about my work, what you see right now. So I practice conceptual photography, and with that, I'm a writer. So what I write about is what I like to. What I write about is what I like to portray in my work. And so what you see here is my latest series titled In an Evil Proverb, which I can't say, but I'd rather translate it to he who holds another down in the mud will stay in the mud to keep him down. And that in Igbo is onye, ji onye, na ani ji onwe ya. I probably butchered that, but yeah. Yeah, but he who holds another down in the mud must stay in the mud to keep him down. Basically, when I came across that African proverb was years ago, I think about easily 10 years ago, and it always stayed with me. I like to think that I'm somebody who stays within the political realm also, well, obviously. And so it really spoke to me when I read that through Chinua Achebe, who's an African Nigerian writer, and so with the works, that's where I was inspired, or how I was inspired to create this body of work. The obvious mud, which was shot, that was there in the studio, and the piece itself reflects the time that we're in right now in South Africa, but also within the African political context. I don't know how to go through this. I would rather questions than just freestyling.
I just want to know the symbolism and the meaning of this picture and the goat and just the person, just the picture and the arms and just everything.
Okay, cool. So this one is titled because Fela said so, and he, if you know Fela Kuti, he speaks
Fela
about
Kuti.
beasts of yeah. And the golden calf from the Bible also is part of what inspired this specific piece here. My friend Darian, he's also a performance artist. And so how I created this piece, how I came to conceptualize it, was that I wanted to portray what it would look like, several things. The fact that we are in a capitalistic society right now, and that we worship money, or we have to. We either do it willingly or unwillingly, participate. We all have to participate in it, whether we like it or not. The mud symbolizes, well, the shadow beast symbolizes whatever you would like it to symbolize. So that is capitalism, white monopoly capital, whatever you think is holding the African continent back from being what it could be, economically and otherwise. That's what it symbolizes. I don't have a definitive answer of what you, as the audience, need to come up with what you feel is taking away. And it's usually in the shadows, and that's what, in the background, and that's what I was trying to depict here. You can never see the face of it. In some of the pieces you do see faces, and that's not really a part of the piece, that's just a part of the shadow, you know? Again, symbolizing things that we can't really always see. We can't put one face to it, but it definitely controls a big part of who we are as a society. And so, yeah, so within the mud, again, we're in the mud, but it's also a call to action to the people that are holding us in the mud, for them to remember that, well, you are also in this mess, while you keep us in this mess. We could be a better society, but you choose to let us only exist within this what's the word?
Paradigm.
Yeah, in this paradigm, thank you. And then this, also the green, not so much, but, because I didn't want it to be too on the nose, but that was about Marikana. This one is called Marikana Africana, and that is what I want to speak about. And the blue collars that you see there, let me take a breath. The blue collars that you see there, the blue collar bouquets, is basically speaking about blue collar workers and how we've basically traded human lives for profit, especially the blue collar workers, especially people on the ground. Once again, Marikana. So very political work, the 30 on the cake, yes, those are ANC colors. And most African political parties actually are usually around gold, green, black, red. As you see there, cut off, that is vote EFF, and then the DA. It is folded on the side, and that's okay. But yeah, so it's not subject to one political party either. It is just talking about how we all need to remember that whatever we do, if it is bad, we all in it together, and we all have to suffer through the consequences of what we've decided, especially our political leaders. Well, I wouldn't call them leaders, but yeah. And yeah, do you have another question?
No.
Okay, cool. Yes, so this is like sweeping it under the rug. I think the metaphors are quite literal, but also you can interpret as you like, as you go. I don't have this. Yes.
So, who's your influence? Who's your artistic influence?
I have a lot of artistic influences for various different things. I think growing up, I was in the same time as conceptual artists like Toko Maela, Tony Goom, and those type of people. So they usually, Tony Goom works with self-portraiture, but within a conceptual realm also at the same time. So that school of people, you could say, kind of influenced my work. But message-wise, it would be, again, I'm going to butcher somebody's name, Kuzanai.
I see some silence. I see.
Who said that? Thank you. Yeah.
Is it supposed to be surrealistic?
Yes. Kind of like in this one, I wanted to look like my friend actually said that there's actual life within the frame. And this one, sorry, did I answer your question properly?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. And so with this one, I wanted to capture the longing of wanting money, but at the same time, because like we all would love to pick up a 200 rand
yes,
note, right?
yes.
But at the same time symbolizing that our economy is in the mud, it's a mess. But also, Utata, his face is there as a reminder, obviously, of what the 30 years that we've come through and what he and other people, and Steve Biko and everybody else fought for. So a lot of this is a reminder also at the same time. It's not necessarily posing a question only. It's a reminder, like the literal dirty laundry and that hanging there and the EFF. It's just reminders of like, what are we doing, where are we trying to go, but a call to action at the same time. Any other questions?
I just got something to add. Not so much a question, but maybe you want to elaborate on it. Like, I feel like when I think about the people in power, there was a quote by a Rockefeller. He said, "I care not who makes the law of the land as long as I control the money supply." So it's like these people behind the governments, behind the leaders that are basically running the show, families that control the central banks, and they literally, control the governments from behind the scenes and create division, between races, between sexes, and then also just, with inflation and debt, they just make life more hard for everyone every day. But the focus, they have us focus on things that are like shown to us as opposed to them, behind the scene, the man behind the curtain, like in Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the shadow beast comes into play, and that's why I didn't. I mean, I've actually, this is the second time I think I've done this one specifically. I changed the hands to be more beastly because at first it looked a bit human-like, and I didn't want necessarily for it to be human. I mean, there are human hands already within that one specifically. And just to go back to the one that's actually next to you, the cake. It's also the play on Maria Antoinette when she said, "Let them eat cake," when leaders really do not, they're so far removed from the struggles of the people on the ground. Like we all know, our ruling party right now, the majority ruling party right now, they always have a big bash on their birthday. And that's been through the years. And it's kind of become a way to induce this like fake utopia, unity type of thing. And the cake is such an interesting thing because it's used to celebrate, but here it's kind of a sad thing. That's all we get a lot of the time from them. This big celebration, like last minute ways to try and gain more votes when it's voting time. This work was created just before, actually no, it's 3 years of conceptualizing the work, so I think 2021, 22, and then I completed it this year. So it came at the right time, actually, also. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone that has joined. Can you hear me? I want to say thank you to everyone that has joined us this afternoon and for sharing your thoughts, your questions, your meditations, and all the are still here. And so if you have any more questions, Karen is also here, director of the gallery. So please feel free to connect on this exhibition, connect with the works, connect with the artists. As we said earlier, it's conversation, it's cocktail, it's connect. And one of the things that I wanted us to kind of bring to full circle is that we're really thankful for the artists becoming and being. It takes your courage, and then it takes gallerists such as Karen and courage for being and allowing us to be in these spaces. So thank you to you all, and let's make it magical and wonderful.
Yeah.